I'm trying my best to communicate the power of self-reflection, the power of understanding yourself, finding out who you are, and releasing whatever is inside of you for you to become your full self. And with self-reflection, self-discovery, everyone's gonna have their own way of doing things. Me, I like to get outside, think, have a walk, reflect, take notes on my phone and see where it gets me. I like to see what I can discover and what I can find really within myself. Unfortunately, I've come to learn the hard way that 85% of us is below the surface in the unconscious. So 85% of the world around us isn't something we're choosing. It sits in the part of us we don't see. And getting inside of that, changing that, allows our own world to become very, very different. And this just tiny action of thinking, reflecting, trying to understand more of what you can currently see, it's really transformational. I mean, the results are incredible. And I'm making these videos trying to communicate that, trying to understand that, but unfortunately it's going to take years. It's going to take a very long time to understand this self-discovery stuff and put it into context that's understandable, manageable and workable. I thought the best thing I could do would be to show you what I do and how I get outside of what I'm doing, how I reflect on things and how I come up with new ideas or ways of thinking. So I've come to this street near where I live and it looks like something out of Chelsea or Kensington or something like that, but it's not. And I come here not because it's somewhere I desire to live or I need one of these beautiful homes, but because of where it is, what it really stands for. We're only 12 minutes outside of London Bridge. I can jump on the train just behind me and be in the centre of London in 12 minutes. And that really inspires me because I lived in London for a long time, and when you think of London you think of cities and hustle and bustle and flats and all that kind of stuff. So it's more of a case of how can you not realise that things are just round the corner from you, that there's something more than you can see really right now. And that pattern of thinking inspires me to think differently about a lot of things. And what I do is I have these self-reflecting questions I ask myself. Things like, is there anything I'm taking for granted? Those kind of questions, which I'll go into more detail in later videos. But is there anything I'm not acknowledging? Anything I'm not taking advantage of? Anything that I am taking for granted? And then why am I taking that for granted? What more can I do with it? How can I expand? And as I walk through these houses and these trees and this micro countryside, all the answers start to appear. And this might seem like a strange thing to do, to go for a walk and ask yourself self-reflective questions, but in terms of getting out of your own way, moving yourself forward in who you are, it's a fantastic introduction to this whole self-discovery thing, understanding yourself, because when you can have these different answers to what you would logically think about, it can help guide you in a way that you wouldn't have thought possible. And if anyone's been following my Instagram stories, this is where I do the run show. This is where I go for a run, talk about what I'm up to, what I'm thinking, where I'm going. And that's exactly the same. Getting out of your own way, finding this way to reflect upon who you are, to change who you are. Somehow getting difficulty, could be emotions or things you can't deal with. Getting it out of your own way to change who you are. To change the bonds you have with the world, your intuition, your emotion, your intellect, for example. And if you can find that right combination of things to do, from keeping a journal, getting outside yourself, maybe seeing a therapist, riding the emotional difficulty, confronting something, maybe it's a telephone call to make, maybe it's a past relationship, maybe it's a boss, find that combination and you can radically accelerate who you are. And not in terms of more and accumulating, it's strangely in terms of less and being lighter in who you are. And this location where I am now, there's a wall just down to my left, was somewhere I was sat just over a year ago, just stewing in trauma, just psychologically just struggling, maybe anxiety, depression, I'm not sure, but just getting that stuff out of my body has brought me here today, has allowed me to express myself and understand how to manage myself, so I don't have that in my life anymore. I'm just calm and collected and really at one with who I am. And walking down this path, it's amazing what can happen in a year, 18 months time, when you let go, when you get that stuff out of your body and you can just be yourself, express yourself, and just live in the world as really who you are. And for anyone going through that kind of difficulty, you can process it out of you. You can, I don't know if it's biology or psychology, you can just get it out of your system so that your energy becomes different, so that you can pick up on who other people are, so you become emotionally bonded to yourself in a very, very different way that you've never really experienced before. And this is what I mean by moving through who you are. You become different and you interact with people and things differently. The things you're afraid of, you move towards. The things you didn't understand, you can now integrate into your life. And this is this integrated self thing, this idea of living in harmony with your reality based on who you are. And once you start to work on that, once you start to change that, everything around you will become different. The space in front of you becomes different, your relationships, your health, wealth, career, goal setting, your perception of reality changes. It becomes vastly different. So get outside of yourself, find yourself. Is there anything you're taking for granted?